Welcome, Mercy here. This is my first YouTube video and I hope you enjoy it. Today we're going to be talking about New World and some of the FPS issues that people have been having. Especially people who actually have decent gaming computers, gaming rigs, and they still have insane FPS drops in the game. I too encountered those issues. I've got running a laptop with a GTX 1070 and a i7 8260 I think HK CPU at 2.7 gigahertz, a little bit overclocking, and I had insane FPS drops. I was dropping to 30 and 40 FPS in towns, and even in the world was getting heavy drops. So right now I'm running around at 60 FPS. I'm actually enjoying the game for the first time after a week that I'm not lagging so much. I want to quickly show you how you may be able to achieve the same. Whoop, missed that arrow. The same settings. Got them. The same settings in game, and increase your FPS. Now, I'll show you quickly the settings I do have, and these probably won't help you that much. I've set everything to low. I've turned on VSync. My max FPS is 60, but still, I was having issues. I was following other YouTubers' guides on how to increase the frame rate in the game and get better results, and nothing worked for me. Now I want to show you what I actually did to improve my FPS and get us down to 60. Alrighty, what I want to talk about is undervolting your CPU. I don't know if your CPU can do this. Mine could. You'll have to find that out for yourself. I've got an Intel CPU, like I said before. I've got an Intel i7 6820HK. That allowed me to undervolt it and reduce the temperature of my CPU. MMOs are very CPU intensive games, and therefore the limitation, even if you have a good graphic card, may be your CPU. I'm using a laptop, which means that I've got heat problems as well. So what I've done to address this is undervolt my CPU and my graphics card. As you can see here, I've got no thermal throttling. Thermal throttling is when your computer is overheating. I've also running Core Temp, which is a good program to monitor your temperatures, and I'm not overheating here. I can see it here, and I can see it in my Intel Extreme Tuning utility. Now, to achieve these results, I had to undervolt. Now, what that means is I reduced my core voltage offset in my CPU. How much you'll be able to do this depends on what type of CPU you have, and I recommend you read a bit on Google, Reddit, and watch some YouTube videos on how you can achieve that for your particular CPU. But you pretty much just reduce your core voltage offset and your cached voltage offsets. That reduces the voltage that your CPU will use, and in turn reduce the temperature, and in turn will make sure you don't have thermal throttling happening. I did the same thing for my graphics card. Again, it'll depend on what graphics card you have and what you'll be able to achieve, but it really helped for me. So I recommend watching a guide on how to undervolt your GPU, your graphics card. For me, it was changing all the frequencies to use less voltage on the voltage curve, and that achieved really stable temperature for me. I'm no longer maxed out all the time. So now I'm going to show you what happens if I don't use my undervolt settings in game. I'm going to set things back to default. I'm going to set my CPU back to the default. Boom. And I'm going to set my graphics card back to default. Boom. And we're going to have a look. As you can see, not only is my core frequency dropping, side note, I managed to undervolt my CPU and overclock it a little bit at the same time, which was a great result. Now we're back to the default settings. It's running less speed, and it's overheating already. We're getting thermal throttling, which means we're going to have FPS issues in the game. See my graphics card, boom, straight up to 90 degrees, maxed out. It's decreased the frequency. We're going to have issues in game. Let's hop back in the game. Still looks okay so far. It's making a liar out of me, but as the temperature starts to, get out of control a bit, we should see some FPS drops. At least that happened for the last week. Maybe because nobody's around, it's actually running alright. But we're going to go have a look near Windswood. Alrighty, let's get some lag. Here we are down to 30, 40s. This is in the morning in Australia, and the population is quite low at the moment. When it's busy, this is bad. It'll drop to the low 30s, even 20 FPS sometimes, without adjusting my settings. So this is still fairly playable, but again, when the times are busy, it's not. Here we are, 43 FPS here. Below 50 is never good. And yeah, I'm gonna restore my settings quickly to get rid of. Look at this. We're running at 3 GHz with thermal throttling. Before we were running at 3.4 GHz with no thermal throttling. Now, because I've already heated up the computer, it might take a while to reduce the temperatures. It's best if you have these settings before you actually overheat, because once you overheat, it's kind of hard to come back down again. But we'll see what it can do anyways. Here we are, undervolted again, and let's see. Look at this. Our max core frequency has already gone back up to 3.4 gig, which is what we want. Even if it throttles a little bit as the temperature comes down, it's still going to be better. We're still going to have better FPS. And for me, this is the only thing that actually improved my FPS in game. Look at this, 60 FPS. We'll still get a little bit of drop in Windswood, obviously, because it's Windswood, but nowhere near as bad. And out in the open world, we're going to be sweet. Look at that. Beautiful. Anyways, I really hope this video helps you. It really helped me. Without it, it really made the game unplayable, even though I thought my computer was alright. So give it a go and let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.